That's facts.
Government lost their damn minds, making us stay home all because of a germ. Yeah, we should have killed it with our military.
I really didn't like that people were telling me what to do, but once I realized it created more rules for me to snitch on people for, I was actually willing to give this lockdown a chance.
In addition to the lockdown order, lots of new suggestions were encouraged by state and federal governments.
For starters, they insisted that we stay 6 feet apart from everyone. Come on now. How do you keep the ladies 6 feet away from this?
That actually doesn't affect me. People usually stay that far away from me.
They kept trying to make us wear masks. Like, who made these laws? Ugly people?
I remember during the Memorial Day weekend, people were partying at the Lake of the Ozarks. Man, it was packed. I've seen better social distancing at an orgy.
Nobody obeyed the 6-foot rules at the Ozarks. So, I took some pictures, posted them online, and contacted the authorities. I ruined a lot of fun that weekend. And I never felt so alive.
As the weeks continued, most Americans were becoming irritated by the inability to resume their normal routines.
They labeled some businesses as non-essential, like Ted's Liquor and Gun Emporium down the block. Come on. What if I need to drunk shoot a burglar, What then?
It was tough when my favorite coffee shop was shut down. I mean, complaining about my latte order and forcing a minimum wage worker to remake it is a very important part of my day.
I couldn't even DJ shirtless. It was rough.
What's a job?
With increasing discomfort, some Americans started subscribing to wild conspiracy theories to make sense of their new realities.
The government is trying to take away our guns. As soon as all this happened, they started taking away the guns from all my heroes. Yosemite Sam, Elmer Fudd. First it's cartoon characters. Then it's us.
The president recommended that we try drinking bleach. So I mixed it in with a little White Claw. Now that I've recovered from that, I should be good.
I think Sarah, my next door neighbor, made the coronavirus. She smells like farts. And I don't like her face.
I read a message that was Khalifa posted that 5G radio waves from our cell phones are giving us coronavirus. If a celebrity posts it, it must be true. So scary. I should tweet that.
The whole situation spilled out into social issues as the Black Lives Matter movement was reinvigorated after a police brutality video surfaced.
Now, I'm not racist or anything, but nobody talks about how my life matters. In fact, nobody talks about how my life matters. It's sort of sad.
My cousins did a ton of looting, and they didn't even get me anything.
People tried to get rid of the police. Does that even make sense? I mean, think about it. Who's going to beat people up when I accuse them of being suspicious?
Optimism had finally started to percolate as certain states had partially begun to reopen in the month of July.
I was finally able to get a haircut again. I'll tell you, you're a lot less insecure once you get your mullet back.
I was so happy to see my bros. We played Euro dance songs and fist pumped. Oh, it was good times.
I feel like the lockdown was able to help me learn a lot. For instance, I finally know my butler's name now.
Someone accidentally bumped into me on the street, and I was feeling so good, I let it go. Yeah, I didn't try to get them arrested or fired. I just let it pass because I believe in a little thing called humanity.
Besides all of the hardships these poor, brave victims have shared, several people also got sick. Still, though, can you believe we had to wear masks?
You nicknamed
I got
you
my mask
nicknamed
back.
her Karen, first and last.
Camille's been doing so
Wait,
much
wait.
Karen stuff through this. I feel like she's got a new Karen video every day.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that, right? Like before this all started happening, I didn't even clue. And she came in with like 4 wigs. She's like, "Which Karen would you like?" And I'm like, "Holy crap!"
So that's a professional Karen you brought in. You brought in a professional.
All the Karens.
You got the go-to Karen of the New York comedy scene.
I know. I didn't even know either. Camille's just a good friend of mine who I've done like TikTok sketches with. So I was just like, "Oh, want to be a part of this? I feel like you could do this well." I almost felt bad too. I was like, "Oh, maybe it's gonna be like she's gonna think I'm asking her to do an older character." But once
that's
Karen, she's like, "I'm on it. Trust."
Yeah.
And then the rest is history.
Whenever I said you got the Karen, the go-to Karen, I mean, like, she plays the Karen a lot in a lot of videos. But in actuality, she's so chill with that. Like, Camille's always down to work with different comics, and she's open to so many different projects. I think it's that she does a lot of improv. She has a big improv background, so she works with others very well on these sketches.
Oh yeah, and she's a beast. Like this character, she knew this character so well. Like, the comments I've gotten, like people like, I really hated that character. Like, it was funny, but like, there's people who are legitimately like, morally, I felt bad for liking it. You know? So like Camille was great. Absolutely, I thought she killed it. But yeah, I didn't even know she had that many Karens out there because once she lined up her wigs, I was just like, whoa, this, did you buy these? And she's like, no, I've been doing sketches and whatnot. I'm like, okay.
I have to say, I was very jealous of Jeff's mullet.
Yeah.
I'm with him. I haven't had my haircut since this all started.
And that's what you got?
That's well, I mean, it's out here. It's out here. But it just
you're gonna need like a mullet wig.
Yeah, it
fix
curls
that
up
for you, hey?
Did he have was that a wig or is that his real stuff?
That was his real stuff.
Oh, yeah. He's in our movie as well. He's playing a character in our movie, and so I saw him. I thought his hair was that long. I didn't think it was a wig, but yeah it makes me. I can't grow it won't grow long. He just bushes, it like curls around the back.
Is there mullet extensions? Does anyone know that? Is that a thing?
Mullet extensions?
Yeah, mullet extensions. Would that be? Is that out?
Just get hair extensions and put them where a mullet would be.
It ought to be. That's what we say back home. If there ain't, there ought to be.
I think we're coming up with some new merchandise for the Very Good Show, right? Very Good mullet extensions. Let's do that.
That's not
right?
part of it. No.
Jeffrey Mono was like, I don't know.
Not part of the brand anymore, y'all.
It's funny, Michael, when I grew my hair out, when I started, like, I don't know why, but I would start listening to 80s hair bands. Like, I would listen to some Bon Jovi again. Like, I started getting, like, my old life back, because in high school, that's what I had. That's my mullet story. Whenever I played college.
So wait, but you feel like you have phantom hair? Is
that
it? Like,
no, yeah, kind of. Yeah, like I lost my hair. Yeah, like I lost a leg or something in Vietnam or whatever. No, yeah. But I remember in high school, our high school basketball team, I had the alpha male of our team was Matt. He was the best basketball player, and everybody loved him. And our senior year, we went in. I was pretty good or whatever, and so anyway, we all went in, and we had like freshmen and sophomores on our team, and he's like, "We're all getting buzz cuts," Matt says. "We're all getting buzz cuts." So Matt sits up. He said, "Shave it all off." And he every other player sat right in that chair, and the barber shaved their hair off. And I went in. I sat down. I said, "Just cut the sides short, but leave it in the back."
Yeah.
I was the only kid. Like, you look at our high school picture.
That's the commitment you had to your basketball team. Just aside.
Like 7 Marines and then me and Billy Ray Cyrus.
Aric has developed, though. He shaved lightning bolts into his head for the Very Good Comedy documentary.
And he loved Achy Breaky Heart, y'all.
Yeah. But hold on. So, Michael, did you have the character in mind for Jeff before you saw the mullet, or did you how?
I saw the mullet before I finished writing this sketch. It was so funny. I got one of those packets for Saturday Night Live, so I wrote a ton of sketches for that to submit to be a writer. And my manager wanted me to go through this one agent, so I went through, and the agent looked at that sketch and said, "I don't think it's that good enough." And I was like, "Okay, then I'll make it myself." So we submitted it anyways, but then I was like, "Well, screw this. Like, I'm going to prove that sketch works." So yeah, I just made it myself. But it was just, turns out like Jeff had this huge mullet when I saw him. And I was like, well, it has to be you then. You have to do this, you know, because I need a mullet. So I hired his mullet on the spot.
He did so well.
You hired his mullet.
And I know Jeff does acting too, but he really, like, I mean, it's him. It's Jeff. But whenever Jeff Paul, not you, Jeff Mano, it'd be crazy if it was Jeff Mano in that video, and that's how good of an actor you were. But
I've got a great makeup artist.
But it really, he really became that role, and then Camille became the Karen. So when you're doing this, are you directing the people through this, or like, because it's during COVID, so were you in person to record them, or you had them self-tape and then you edited after? How were you able to put the whole thing together?
Oh, dude, it was all in person. We actually all went over to Jeff's house because Jeff had several different backdrops. And Jeff was in the basement. I was shot somewhere else, actually. I was just shot in a buddy's room. But Camille was shot in the kitchen, and then Anna was shot in the living room. And yeah, like it's a talking headpiece. So the camera was like 6 feet away, and then I'm just off to the side of my computer as they go over their lines. I'm like, oh, I want to try this way or go with this. I always had sort of an idea of like, oh, I want to do the take I want. Then after that, you guys do whatever takes you feel you think would be better. And then from there, I had a lot to choose from, you know? But yeah, it was funny. Everyone did bring like their own thing to it. And like,
it came out great. It came out great. Good on you for making it. I'm so happy anytime somebody initially, like, if you think something's funny, it's funny. Like, I truly believe if you think it's funny, it's funny.
Dude, you go through.
Funny. And it's the job of the comic to like, now let me make this for other people so they can also see and appreciate the humor. So if there's that one person early on, or those one or two voices that are like, nah, don't do that. It's so good to be able to work through that and still put it out so it can still be enjoyed.
Oh, it's I'm going to be honest. It's so hard on me, like, to think of it. I don't know what made me go through it, but you're right. Like, once that agent sort of gave me discouraging advice, I was just like, well, now I have to do it. Like, I don't know why I keep reacting that way to everything that bad comes my way. But as soon as people tell me I can't, I'm like, well, you're not me. You know, I think it'll work. Like, I know I'm watching it in my head. So I'm like, okay, I'll create that and see for myself how it is. But I have to admit, like with sketches, it's very frustrating in the early stages because like you write it down and you're just hoping people see it the way you see it, you know, and that's not a guarantee. So it's like, oh, I got to do this and do it. And it's like my next sketch, I couldn't actually do it in person. So I'm animating it. I'm making a cartoon out of it.
You said, it's awesome.
Yeah, but it was another sketch too where I was just like, it's a big idea that I have, and I'm like,
and you haven't done that before, right? This will be like
never. I'm an idiot. I'm doing things I have never done before, and I'm awesome, like trying to make this work. I'm impressed by what I'm doing, but I mean, the sense that I'm going to fail the vision is constantly bothering me. You know, because like cartoon, I have no experience. Like I have another guy. Thank God I have like a guy who's much better at the editing animation thing than I am to really lead that area of these sketches.
Nice. Yeah.
And he is awesome, by the way. Even with Selfish History, most of the things you saw in archival footage, I wrote. Like I just wrote out of my head. I was just like, it'd be funny if there was a girl pouting. I also wrote,
and he could go and find it and place it in. That's so
he found it, right? The guy found it and put it in and made it flow. The only thing he didn't have is instead of the Black Lives Matter thing, it was going to be like a fat cop eating 3 donuts at the same time. That's what I wrote in. I guess that was the only thing he that's the only thing he couldn't find.
Without filming that yourself, that's a very specific.
Yeah, it was specific, right? Cool. But I mean, he found everything else. He found the V for Vendetta thing. He found the phone tag scene. He found a guy hitting himself with a hammer. Like he found things that I wrote that I was just joking about. I was like, there's no way he'll find it. But like I was just trying to give him a sense of like what I would like in there with whatever you could find. Yeah, and he just came up. It was super great. So like now that sketch that cartoon, it's sort of in his hands on how it's getting finished right now. And I'm just
Was
like,
that Lewis? Is that Lewis, or he was doing the recording, not the editing?
Lewis just did the recording. That was it. Lewis Kent? Yeah. He was just my camera guy. Yeah, by the way, that Selfish History sketch, that cost me like just under $500. Like just to see a vision.
It came out pro though. That's the thing. Like with that work, I know Lewis he's pro. I've worked on a couple shoots with him before as well, and it looks like drunk history. It looks like something that could be on Comedy Central. So 500 to go into something like that, where I could see that playing on SNL, like with the quality that it's recorded now, not just the writing, but the entire production of it is set for that.
It's what I wanted. I mean, if I was going to do something I'm putting out, like I sort of want to see it like how I would actually want to see it, you know? So like I kept that in mind. I'm like, you have to commit to this.
You said we did a pre-show call earlier. So for anyone who watches his background, when did he say that he was doing an animated thing? We talked a little earlier as well. And you said then too that you kind of see yourself as perfectionist. So do you find within that, if there is somebody who has these negative voices, or if there is like an issue that arises in a project, how do you respond to that to actually then get something made and put it out?
I mean, to be fair, first off, even coming across as like a stand-up comedian, I mean, I came from a pretty bully bad past, you know what I mean? Like even in high school and that stuff. So, I mean, getting into stand-up, a lot of people are like, oh, how do you take bombing and stuff? And I was like, oh, I think real life taught me how to take a bomb. Like, I was like, oh, this felt like Thursday in high school, you know?
When you're sitting in your locker freshman year, you're thinking, man, I wish I was bombing instead.
Yeah, much rather. Right? I had a much thicker skin for criticism than a lot of people, I think. So yeah, when I'm going through those motions, I don't know what it is, but like I chose to do stand-up, and then I got a lot of, you know, obviously you bomb a lot, you have a lot of naysayers there, and then you just work with it because you're addicted to the high and everything. And then, you know, same deal. It's like once you start creating this vision, and your mind fills up constantly with this could go wrong, or this could be a thing, and this could, you know, go to hell. And then you're like, yeah, but if I don't do it, I'll never see it. So I have to feel it and go through it, you know? And I don't know, it's just always a voyage. It's like the attempt. I'm never happy with it. Like Selfish History, I have a few complaints, but like all in all, I am like proud of it, like immensely that I went for it and everything. In this next sketch, I mean, like I'm in the process right now of like, I'm such an idiot. Why did I do a cartoon without practicing with something more small scale? Because the other thing is like I ended up using really good comics that I really enjoy. That puts more pressure on me.
Showed up for it too. Like every day
right. Like the next one is Liz Mealy. It's me, Liz Mealy, Cream Green, Tom McNamara.
And this is for the animation.
Yeah. So it's like we're putting this together, and I'm like, oh my god! Now I have to I need to make sure these guys all look good. Like I almost feel it in my sense too to make it do for them. So yeah, like as a person, I don't know where I come up with it, but like once you commit, you know that you have to follow through and that you just have to keep trying because like there's answers to everything out there, but it's like going through those motions. So yeah, I just sort of always have been very good at like ignoring. To be fair, one of the best points in my life, like the best lessons I've ever learned, I remember I was at a karaoke bar with one of my best friends at the time in Toronto, and we showed up and we were a little drunk, and we wanted to do karaoke, and we go there, and right when we sat down, a waitress came up and is like, "Hey, karaoke's done, but we're at last call if you want a drink." And I was like, I mean, we ordered. And then I looked at my buddy. I'm like, this is the worst. Like, what are we going to do? And he's like, you're actually going to believe her? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you see that guy over there who's controlling the music? He's probably the guy who controls it. Why would you just listen to her? Right? She doesn't know who we are. We can go find out for ourselves if we do this. That guy walked over. 5 minutes later, came back to me, my buddy, and he's like, we got last song at karaoke now. And I was like, yes, never listen to anybody. Do it. Just do it and prove to them you know what you're doing. right? And I remember that never left me, that emotion. So a lot of times when I do get note or when I am told this isn't going to happen or whatever, like I say, I always flash back to that and I'm like, they don't see what I see. They don't know who I am. Who I am is different than them. So maybe they can't do it, but I'm gonna, like I can do it. I have different capabilities than other people. So I'm gonna try,
Wow.
So, that was it. Huh?
I love your spirit. I love it.
And thank you, dude. Thank you for doing it, because I know you have those perfectionist tendencies. You have a lot more invested in it. I was able to just enjoy it. I was able to see it, to laugh at it, and appreciate it. So thank you, dude, for taking that action and putting it out and making that content for people to enjoy.
Oh yeah. I mean, what else do I have to do?
You hit on
We're in a pandemic. Even like when you guys invited me to this podcast, I'm like, oh, when am I going to see these guys? Like, I'm happy to take people's podcasts so I could talk to other people now. I'm so lonely.
You hit on a couple of points there that are important. I think number one, we're in the same boat, like you said. How you're just winging it. Like even tonight, and it's funny because a lot of these things end up you find things out by accident. Like we've done that a lot. Like it would not go live. We didn't go live when we're supposed to go live. And so we're recording this, we're going to put it, and this may be the format going forward, is that we pre-record a show and then put it live out at a certain time. That may be the format going forward, but you have to take those steps forward. And another point you made was that your own self-doubt. Like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can make this happen. There's a lot of things to put together, a lot of people to bring together, a lot of money to get or whatever. But if you're not feeling those negative thoughts in your head, then you're not going pushing hard enough. Like if you think you have all the resources you need right now to accomplish whatever it is you need, then you probably are just not even stretching yourself at all. Right? So
of course.
I applaud that. That's really good. That's a great point.
Well, I mean, it's also just like, like another thing that I do self-doubt myself once in a while is like, am I challenging myself too much right now? It's like, I am taking a very big leap on something I know very little about, where maybe I could have spent more time. But then, on the other hand, you're like, it was a timely piece, right? It's the name of the sketch is called Biden's Basement. So it's a cartoon about Biden. So I was like, oh, it's a timely political piece. I have to find a way to get this out, and it's not going to be live. So I guess I jump in now, and it's the only way, or this sketch dies from never being done. So
because if you wait too long, this could be a really sad. I mean, Biden's on borrowed time right now. Anyway.
Oh no.
I guess so. But I mean, Sorry, go ahead. What, Rob?
But we're going to have to close out. But tell us about your album. Hold on. I still have not gotten used to which side I need to move to. But anyway, tell us about your album, where we can get it.
I just love that cover. It's like after you talk to me, I'm all giggly and stuff, and then here's me looking badass. Hey, that's
I would have still bullied you in high school.
Yeah. I know. I felt like I was channeling that bully. Hilarious.
Drinking wine with a pinky out, so don't worry. You're fine.
What about the animated sketch too? Where can people? Sorry, I'm not trying to talk over. I want to know for people watching, where can they find? This is an album that's already out.
Yeah.
The animated's about to come out. How do people find it?
Oh, well, first off, for like sketches and all that stuff, I'm on YouTube. Just subscribe to Michael Harrison, comedian. I'm sure you're like the guy who looks like me. I don't know how many Michael Harrisons there are out there. There's like a magician. You know what I mean? So don't subscribe to him. He's I mean, if you want, but I mean, anyways. And then this album is all over. It's like on Amazon, iTunes, Spotify. So if you look up Freak Laugh, it's the only album named that. Like the other Michael Harrison didn't even come up with one named that. So it's good, very easy to find, and high quality. So yeah, I'm on Instagram also at Michael Harrison Comedian.
Awesome, huh? Incredible. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Mike. We gotta close out for the evening, but we're going to share all of these links on the Very Good pages after the show, and we're going to post the show after the show. This is, again, the first time we haven't been able to actually do it as a live broadcast.
I think Facebook's on to us.
Yeah, nice.
Pay him and everything.
It's too good. This is the very good show's too good for Facebook.
Yeah,
So,
right.
yeah.
We need to go back to our original title, which was Better Than Average Comedy Show. Michael, you stay safe. We can't wait to see you in person, man.
Me too. Take care, everyone. Stay healthy.
All right, brother. Talk to you later.
Cheers.